friends, or maybe more. Earn a 20 quid free bet for every friend you refer to Paddy Power, thanks to our Friends with Benefits programme. Log into your Paddy Power account and share your referral link to get started. Terms and conditions apply. 18+, begambleaware.org.
Hi there, a very warm welcome to the day 2 of Aintree Postcast. I'm Bruce Millington and I'm delighted to be joined by Keith Melrose and David Jennings from the Racing Post, as well as from Paddy Power, that shrewdy Niall O'Reilly. 7 races to rattle through, and then we will get Niall and Keith's national fancies. DJ is on the national show tomorrow, so he can keep his powder dry. We'll start then with the 1:45 on Friday, the Merseyrail Handicap Hurdle. Tough race. Niall, give us a show and then kick off with the first tip.
Yeah, so we're 5 placed in this race, and Brio Conti is our 5-1 favourite. Canardier is 8-1, Montes Abelwar 10-1, Night in Dubai 10-1, Project Blue Book 10-1 and 12-1 bar. I was all set to put up a bold plan for Evan Williams here, but though he's not been declared, but though he's left another one in called Esprit du Large, who I actually think is very interesting. He's off a mark of 132, and he was very impressed with his last start, so I think he could be well handicapped. Adam Wedge takes the ride, who's a jockey I really like. I just think he's worth an each way bet at the 14-1 or so that he is.
Seen those colours carried around Aintree with distinction by Alvarado, of course, down the years. Keith, who do you like here?
Yeah, I've got a lot of respect for the Evan Williams horse. Both those that were entered up I was interested in, and I love Brio Conti, but I'd be more hopeful if Harry Cobden took a couple of diazepam before the race, because it needs to be presented as late as possible. He's real dosser. I actually like Canardier. I think the way he shaped in the Coral Cup was really good. He had to make a really big move down the hill and then just faded up the hill. It was his first run since October. He's only had 8 runs in his life, potentially a really unexposed horse, and one with just that little bit less emphasis on stamina could improve more.
So Canardier is the tip. For Dermot A. McLaughlin, what's he like, DJ?
Really, really good trainer. Really good. Yeah, I think he'll get horses for Gigginstown shortly. Yeah, he had Vix Canvas and a couple of really good horses. He's got Santa Rosa in the bumper as well. Yeah.
Will he train the winner of this?
One thing I would suggest is that Canardier will definitely go off favourite. That would be my prediction in this race. This will be a plunge horse. I could see him going off 7-2. I think he's about 8s now. He will be a plunge horse. But the 2 I'm going to put up at huge prices, both I think 33-1, maybe even 50s. The first of them is Wait For Me for Philip Hobbs and Richard Johnson. Look, he's a horrible horse. He finds very little off the bridle, but he travelled particularly well, I thought, in the Pertemps at Cheltenham last time over 3 miles. I don't think he gets 3 mile in a strongly won race. He will tank through this, and 2.5 miles on a flat track at Aintree could suit. And the other one, who's got even more to prove but is seriously well handicapped now, is Mount Muse for Donald McCain and Brian Hughes, who actually refused to race in the Martin Pipe, whipped around at the start, didn't take any part in it. But if you go back through his form, he beat Sam Spinner as a novice hurdler. He was second in the Grade 1 at Aintree as a novice hurdler that season. He was rated as high as 145. He's down to 137 now. So 2 against the field would be Wait For Me and Mount Muse.
The 220 is the Betway Top Novices Hurdle. It's a Grade 1. I'm not sure it's the strongest Grade 1 Aintree has ever hosted, but it's certainly competitive. Niall, what's the latest?
Yeah, so Itchy Feet is our 3-1 favourite, Aramon is 7-2, Precious Cargo 9-2, Felix Daisy is 6-1, Southfield Stone 13-2 and 9-1 bar.
Am I being horrible about this race, Keith?
I don't think so. I think the Supreme is actually a bit better than might get credit for at the time. Of the 3 that ran in that are here again, I'd be having it down to Itchy Feet and Felix Deji. I thought Itchy Feet possibly did well coming back from where he did. He was all out of it down the hill, but he stayed on really well to nearly get second. Whether that means you'll suit Aintree better, I don't really know. So maybe at twice the price, I would have a chance on Felix Deji. Absolutely tanked through the Supreme. Didn't really sort of seem to get up the hill, but he has got form at 2.5 miles, so it's not like he struggles to stay. He's just a horse that's got really high cruising speed, and that might see him better around Aintree. And I think the Nichols horse might take them along. You've
tipped Felix Deji a few times in your life, DJ. Are you going to keep the faith here?
I have, yeah. No, I'm not. I think he's probably a little bit too short here. The one I think is overpriced is Rouge Vif, who I've been a big fan of all season for Harry Whittington. I think the fact that he comes here as his main aim for the season, like all season, even when he was second to Mr. Fisher and ahead of Thomas Darby at Kempton on Boxing Day, Harry Whittington said straight away he's not going to Cheltenham, he's going to Aintree, and he warmed up for Aintree with, I thought, a pretty breathtaking win in the Grade 2 at Kelso. I thought he was seriously impressed with that day. Getaway Trump was odds-on favourite and he devoured him. I think he's going to get an easy lead again here, and Aintree should really suit him. I think he's a very good horse, and I have done all season, and I think he's underestimated. I think Rouge Vif will go well at a big price.
Niall, who's your fancy?
Yeah, I'm not overly excited by this race, but I watched the Supreme back last night. I just had forgotten how well Felix Stacey ran. I think this flatter track and better ground will suit as he's such a strong traveller. They actually hammered him in the betting that day, so they clearly thought he was going to run a good race, which he did. Itchy Feet, I'd be wary about taking a short price after he bled and is out again quickly here. I think Aramon is a big danger. I think this track and ground will definitely suit him better than what Cheltenham did. Precious Cargo is one that would look short to me. I think he's so much to find. So yeah, I'll stick with Felix Stacey.
One of the races of the festival for sure was the RSA, in which Top of the Game ran out a really, really spectacular winner. I loved that race. I loved the front three. And Top of the Game reappears at Aintree in the 250. It's the Betway Mildmay Novices Chase, a grade one. And he's odds on, isn't he, Niall?
Yeah, this is our money back special race, so money back if Top of the Game wins the race, and he's our 8 to 11 favourite. Lost in Translation 7 to 2, Chris's Dream 9 to 1, Mr Whip 12 to 1, 14 to 1 Drovers Lane, 14 to 1 Topville Ben, 25 to 1 Crucial Roll.
DJ, can you see beyond the fav?
No, I don't think that's a bad price at all. I could see a case being made for him being shorter. He's officially rated £6 better than Lost in Translation. Lost in Translation ran very well in the JLT, but Top of the Game won an above average RSA. I think he's exceptional. I think he'll win next year's Gold Cup, and I think he'll win this.
Niall, what's your view?
Yeah, I'm buzzing to see Lost in Translation over 3 mile here, and I'm actually all over him to beat Top of the Game. They're actually quite closely matched on the line through Le Bag of Raw, yet one is 7 to 2 and the other is 8 to 11. Lost in Translation also has the course form from last year when he was second the Black Op. One of the main angles I'm taking into this is I actually thought the RSA seemed a grueling race, running a very fast time, and while I think Top of the Game, as DJ said, could be a proper Gold Cup horse next year, I'm just going to take him on here as I think he's vulnerable to the speedier type in Lost in Translation. He probably didn't go hard enough in the JLT, and I think he didn't have the hardest race because of that. Colin Tizard has a serious record at Aintree. He's 11 winners from 43 runners since 2013, so clearly a man to follow here. So yeah, all in, Lost in Translation each way here.
Each way, just the 7 runners, yeah?
Oh, sorry, I have backed an anti-post, but yeah, just all in, Lost in Translation.
Okay.
I think he'd beat him.
Keith, what's your view?
Yeah, I think both lads have a point there. Lost in Translation is going to be a smart 3 miler, a better 3 mile than he was a 2.5 miler, but he's up against a horse that might well be favourite for the Gold Cup next year. So for that reason, I think I would be struggling to oppose Top of the Game. Just very quick mention, I think the way the race might pan out, Topville Ben might beat more home than he's expected to. I don't think he'll win. But, you know, if you can bet on the spread or if you can bet without...
Match bets, maybe?
Match bets or without the first 2 or something, he might be worth a bit of a look, because when he gets out in front going left-handed on his own and gets into rhythm, he is probably a 145, 150 horse, so he might get a poor third, but I don't think he'll beat the first 2 who are very exciting.
Well done, chaps. Another very exciting race coming up after this very short break.
Here at Paddy Power, we're the home of the Money Back Special, with some incredible offers every single week. Check out the website or app today. Terms and conditions apply. 18 plus, begambleaware.org.
Welcome back. We are running through day 2 at Aintree. Let's do the 325, the JLT chase, better known as the Melling chase. It's a grade 1 and the lesser spotted Waiting Patiently heads Paddy Power's market now.
Yeah, he's our 15 to 8 favourite. Politologue is 2 to 1, Min 11 to 4, Top Notch 9 to 1, Hell's Kitchen 12 to 1, God's Own 33 to 1, and Woodland Opera is 50 to 1.
7 runners again, Niall, so that's a bit of a pain, because otherwise it would be all sorts of each way fancies here. Who is your fancy, though, to win this?
I'm excited to watch this race, but from a betting perspective, I found it tricky. I think Waiting Patiently is the better horse, but Politologue obviously has the course form, which can be important. 9 of the last 10 winners of this race had a run at the track previously. Waiting Patiently does, though, come here to fresh horse, and in first-time cheap pieces, I'm just going to side with him. I just really like the horse. He's a strong traveller with a turn of pace, and he's a really quick and accurate jumper. Min obviously went close in this last year, though he's just not a horse I'm a massive fan of personally. So yeah, I'll stick with Waiting Patiently.
Keith, who do you like?
I think Politologue out of him and Min, because obviously he beat him last year. And I didn't think he was a Cheltenham horse until he ran in the Champion Chase. I think he wants a flat track, but he sort of proved that a little bit wrong at Cheltenham. If either of them from last year have gone the right way, it's Politologue over Min, who's only really won some small field races this year. Waiting Patiently, I'm just taking as a total bogey. I disregard him. If he wins great. But I just have my doubts about what he's going to show up and show. So I sort of disregard him at those sort of prices and take it on the chin if he cops. And the 7 runners is a shame, though, as you say, because it beats my almost direct debit on God's Own for a place only. He loves to pick up a bit of place money, doesn't he, God's Own?
He's such a great horse, isn't he?
Yeah, he's been smashing horse down the years.
Superb horse. DJ, did you get wind of a little rumour that Min had a slightly interrupted preparation before the Champion Chase?
I didn't, but it's interesting you say that, because I think the lads are being very dismissive of Min here, to be honest with you. Keith says he won a couple of small field races. He won 2 Grade 1s very impressively before going to Cheltenham, and I would say, and I think he'd agree with me if he ever came on the podcast, the ride Ruby Walsh gave Min in the Champion Chase was possibly the worst ride I have ever seen him give a horse. It was so bad, it was scary to watch, and I'd say he'd love to have another go at it. He did his own thing, and in his head he wanted to come with one run at Altior, and he wanted to give himself maybe 2 or 3 lengths at the last and then come with one run, and he just literally rode Min to beat Altior, and that backfired spectacularly because he got into all sorts of trouble coming down the hill, and I would completely forget about that run. And if you do forget about that run, I thought last year he was almost a moral winner of the race, because Balco de Flo kind of went very, very quick in front, and he was kind of robbed, I thought, by Politolog just on the run in. Politolog is obviously a good horse, but if you take that out, I think Min has got some cracking form, and I don't think he gets the credit he deserves. He's officially rated 167, which I think is probably about right. I think he's going to win this race. I think you'll see a different ride from Ruby on Min this time. I think he'll be more aggressive. I think he'll use his jumping, and I think he'll win.
I agree with you for what that's worth, which is not very much at all. Let's look at the 405, the Randox Health Topham Handicap Chase over the big fences. Should be a fantastic spectacle. 8-1 the field. Very, very difficult betting puzzle. Niall, give us the latest.
Yes, so we're going 6th place in the race because it is quite a difficult race to figure out. Janik is our 8-1 favourite. Peregrine Run is 10-1. Adrian DuPont is 12-1. Ballyhill 12-1. Call It Magic 12-1 and 16-1 Bar.
Well, is it difficult, Keith?
You could make it exceptionally difficult for yourself, or with 6 places, I'd be fairly happy just taking Ballyhill each way. I think he's been aimed at this race a little bit, actually, and I think he jumps a Mildmay course very well, which is usually a good indicator. He is a really solid jumper and prominent racer, which is all the ingredients to really take to the national course. In that form at Cheltenham in January, a lot of these 2.5 mile races at Cheltenham can end up a little bit weak-looking form after the Paddy Power. They get worse and worse and worse as the season goes on. But that day, it was basically Cyrillac and Janica 16 lengths clear of the rest, apart from Ballyhill, who was right in the middle. And he's £2 lower now, so I think he's got a cracking chance of finishing in the first 4 or 5. You
make a very persuasive case. DJ, who's your fancy?
I love one in this, right down the bottom. I don't even know what price he is. I think he's about 25s. Kilcrea Vale was 4th in the race last year off a mark of 135. He got so much to do, and he was badly hampered 4 out there, so he was. And then he came back and he ran behind Warrior's Tail here in December in the Sefton. I thought he ran another cracker. He's only beaten just over 2 lengths, and he made some terrible mistakes. I'd say he's been laid out for this race by Nicky Henderson, because it's the only type of race that he can win this season. And I think he has taken well to the national fences. He does make an odd mistake, but this is a horse who was rated much higher in his early days. He was a good novice chaser, good novice hurdler, and I think off a mark of 135, I think he's got a great chance.
Niall, who'd you like?
That horse is 20-1, DJ. Just, you know. I actually think we could see a monster performance here from Janica. He's just a horse I really like, and I definitely think he's grade 1 class. Now, it's a very high mark, and he's not the biggest horse, but we've seen with Tiger O last year that these really clever, slick jumpers can actually get over these fences now.
Skim through them, don't they, now?
Yeah, exactly, yeah, and I think he'll do just that. He's 8-1. Is he going to be out of the 6? I'm going to hammer this each way. Janica for me.
They're basically just piles of old Christmas trees, aren't they now, the national fences, with a little rubber bit in the middle?
Yeah, you can get through them now, and Peter Duray showed you that when he won the national, and you can. But they do stop them still if they get into too many. Yeah. You know, you watched Tiger O win the national last year. He was flying by the seat of his pants a few times, so there's always danger. Well,
I said in the column today, they've done an incredible trick of making them much, much safer, but for the once-a-year fan, they still looks like the Grand National. It still feels like the Grand National. I think they've done a brilliant job. OK, the 440s, the Doombar Sefton Novices Hurdle, and Champ is on a retrieval mission. What price is he, Niall?
Yeah, so he's our 5-2 favourite. Dallas to Picton 4-1, Emma Tom 5-1, Lisnagar Oscar 6-1, Ardleton 12-1, Downtown Getaway 12-1, Trevian's Corn 12-1, 14-1 bar.
And David Jennings, who will cross the line in front?
Oh, I think Champ probably will, to be honest with you. 5-2 I think is reasonable value. It's hard to know what to make of the Ballymore, but the two of them pulled nicely clear, and it was a 2-horse race with Champ and City Island from the second last, really. I think the step up and trip should prove no problem. He's a smooth traveller, he's a good jumper, and I think he's just a better horse than Dallas that's picked on. Like, he's rated £4 higher than him. I think that's about right. I think Dallas is picked on as a nice horse, travelled well in the Martin Pipe, was just beaten by a well handicapped horse in early doors. But at 5-2, I don't think there's anything wrong with that price. I don't see any of the rest of them winning. I think it's a 2-horse race. So yeah, I'd be a big fan of Champ.
Yeah, I thought it was a kind of 2-1 shot. Do you think he's sticking your neck out a little bit here, Niall?
Yeah, I was just going to agree with Dave. I don't think this market's been priced properly. I think this will go off sub 2-1 myself. Yeah, look, he can be keen and there'd be reasons to take him on, but 5-2 is probably too big a price to do that. I'm just going to chance one each way because I'm struggling with this race really. Downtown Getaway, another Henderson horse. Now, I'm not really confident, but he was a good horse in Ireland, and then he was bought by Current Connections and sent to Henderson. He won his hurdles. He was second in hurdles debut when he should have won, and then he was very unimpressive at Ascot, though they went to crawl that day, and he's probably much better than he showed. He beat a Fergal O'Brien horse who's run well since. The step up to 3 miles should really suit him, and at a price, rather than back the favourite, I'll just back him each way.
What's your strategy, Keith Melrose?
Champ's a really good horse, as is Dallas to Picton. They're going to be top class chasers, but I'm not entirely sure either's ready for 3 miles yet. You get a lot of funny results in these 3 mile grade ones at the end of the season because you've often got backwards horses that are maybe that need a bit more mollycoddling and have had a bit of enough for this season. So I'll reluctantly sort of pass over. And then if I was going to have in bet rates like this where you get a bit of Jack and Nori form, might be worth playing small on a sort of bigger price one. And there's a horse called Go Another One that's been racing in Ireland. It's had absolutely loads of goes, which is what puts me off, and he needs to improve on it. But when he won a grade 3 last time, he looked like he was absolutely crying out for 3 miles. He's got the experience and he's going to absolutely thrive at the trip. And I think it was 20-1 when I saw him. He's possibly the horse that's going to stay on past a few and maybe feature at the end. So sort of play small and play at big prices in this race is generally the way to go because of the makeup of the horses, and that's the one I sort of landed on, really. OK, at
5:15, being run to the cackle of tipsy ladies, the sound of breaking glass, and Ladies' Day at Aintree in full flow is the bumper. We haven't got any prizes yet, but lads, just give us the winner. Niall, we'll start with you.
Yeah, I was so impressed with McFabulous last time. He hammered a decent looking field with plenty of expensive types. The time, from what I can see, looked very good. He produced a pretty decent time figure, so the form would look very trustworthy. On debut, he also hammered 2 nice types in Ass Dillon and Lisnagar Oscar, who've obviously done the form no harm. I didn't think he handled Cheltenham in between them 2 runs, and I'll forgive him that run. The opposition, I thought Master Devonor would run a lot better than he did at Cheltenham, but yeah, I'll stick with McFabulous.
Who are you going to go for, Keith?
Me and Niall discussed this before, and we're both very keen on McFabulous. I mean, I'd be lying if I said I looked at all the form here, but it's just going to take a very, very good one to beat him. It's not often that Paul Nicholls' horses show as much as he did at his stage of his career. He tanked all over them at Newbury, and Newbury bumpers are normally good. That looked almost especially so. And then when he was asked to win his race in the wings at the last, he hung right onto the stands rail, obviously very green. But after that, kicked on another 6-7 clear and won very well. He's possibly a very, very good horse.
David Jennings, have you sussed one?
Oh, I have, yeah. I've been waiting for this for a while. Santa Rosa, we spoke about Dermot McLaughlin earlier in the show, and I think he's got a potential star here in Santa Rosa. 2 really interesting things here. He was mad to run this horse in the Champion Bumper at Cheltenham. He thought he had a super chance, but the owner wasn't as keen. This is a mare, and there's a mare's bumper today. And instead of going for the mare's bumper today, he's decided to go for this bumper on Friday, which I actually think potentially could be a weaker bumper, which is quite interesting. She gets obviously weight from her rivals. She's getting £3 from McFabulous, and I loved her performance at Leopardstown on the Dublin Racing Festival. I thought she quickened up really, really smartly there. I don't think she had done much work before she won in her debut at Fairyhouse. They think the absolute world of her. It'll be really interesting to see the betting here, because I've kind of done up my own little type of tissue thing here, and I kind of make McFabulous roughly about 5-2 and Santa Rosa 3-1, but I think Santa Rosa will go off favourite and I think she'll win.
Lovely stuff. Let's get the Friday naps.
This will not be beaten.
Keith, who are you going to go for?
I think Ballahell each way is the best bet on the day.
And that's in the Topham,
In the
405.
Topham, nice and easy.
Okay, DJ?
Mine is going to be Min in the 325.
Okay, and Niall?
Yeah, 250 Aintree, lost in translation. Obviously, we're in MBS in that race, so you'd want to be backing him with us.
You're going very big on that one, aren't you, Niall?
That won't win. No,
That won't win.
that won't win.
Okay,
No,
now
it'll be
then,
top of the game.
tomorrow I am back with Paul Keeley, David Jennings and Frank Hickey for a special Grand National Day postcast. All the best bets on the big race and the rest of the card, and indeed elsewhere. That means that Keith and Niall can give us their national fancies now. DJ, you can sit on yours. Keith, who are you going to go for?
For quite a while, my national fancy has been Pleasant Company. He absolutely took to the course like a duck to water last year. Ended up actually in front earlier than he should have been. He pulled all the way to second Beechers, really, and did an awful lot in front there. He was coming back at the end too at Tiger Row. Took to that really well. He's been basically safe for the race all year ever since, and I think he's bound to go well at about 20s.
Okay, and Niall, you've been talking this horse up on the podcast all winter and he's just got in, so you must be extremely excited.
Yeah, I'm excited. Joe Farley's obviously just snuck in. I've been chipping away at him since, we'll say, September. Yeah, he obviously ran a cracker at Newbury last time. He jumps. I think he's the best jumper in the field. And in saying that, he'd probably fall at the first, but he's a really exuberant, big jumper. He stays well. He'll like the ground. I don't think there's any negatives to him. I definitely think he's a big each way bet in the race.
Joe Farrell for Niall and Pleasant Company for Keith. DJ, don't tell us your national fancy, but are you sweet on one this year?
I backed it at 40-1, but I don't think I've ever backed a winner of the Grand National, so it's not a good start.
Haven't you?
No, the closest I've come was when Druid's nephew was about 5 clear, 6 out, and he fell.
Okay.
So that'll tell you.
All right, well, hopefully tomorrow or this week is the year that you break your duck. Thanks, DJ. We'll speak to you tomorrow. Niall, have a great weekend. And Keith, thank you so much for your contributions the last couple of days. You must come back and join us on the postcast. Okay, thanks for joining us. We are back tomorrow for a Grand National special postcast.
What's my horse's handicap? The fact that you're backing him? Everyone loves a newbie. That's why Paddy Power Games are giving all new customers 60 free spins on daily jackpot games. New Paddy Power Games customers only. One per customer. T's and C's apply. 18+. BeGambleAware.org.